chalk and cheese. That's how I see the United States and Canada side by side. I do. They're very different kettles of fish that they are. You've got Canada investing in its military, but also its military personnel, such as Ottawa, who are going to be investing $2 billion in armed forces for pay increases, etc., and improved benefits. And you got the United States, headed by the Mango Mussolini, who are being told that, well, actually, in a convention, a trainings site, you like to grab him by the pussy and all that. Anyway, words to that effect. But also how he got his Purple Heart, for which he hasn't got a Purple Heart. He's got no feckin' heart whatsoever. He's an evil feckin' bastard. It has to be said. There's no getting away from the fact that he was never in the military. He avoided being called up several times because he's got heel spurs, he said. Just a lie. He's just too busy, isn't he? He was just too busy having it away with, well, you know what I'm going to say. After all, he is the fiddler on the roof, you could say. Now, the thing is, when I look at what's going on in Canada, now look at what's going on in the United States, it is most certainly chalk and cheese. You have Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, doing everything he possibly can to improve the outlook for Canada and Canada's security. Since Donald Trump has made it quite clear, he gives absolutely nothing. He doesn't even give a flying F for Canada or the Canadian people. And quite frankly, I don't think the Canadian people give a flying F for those in the United States. Or do they? Considering they just had their cross-border handshake. It's about solidarity. You see, in the day, there are good people in the United States. There's also Maple MAGA in Canada. You see, you have good and bad wherever you are. Unfortunately, in the United States, there's a growing, a crowd of bad people who keep signing up for ICE just to get their 50 to 90,000 a year, plus bonuses. And gives them the opportunity to beat people up, and steal Mexican food from Mexican warehouses when they think they're not being watched. But in fact, they're being filmed. Yeah, they're thieves now as well as boozers. Yeah, lovely people, aren't they, who work for ICE? No, they're not. They should be fucking killed. That they should. Stick them in the stocks and throw diapers at them. Use diapers, Donny's diapers at them. That's what they need. Now, Ottawa spent the next $2 billion to increase pay and improve benefits for members of the Canadian Armed Forces. This is part of a plan to boost their military and what have you. Because you've got to think about retention, haven't you? And a new compensation and benefits package, which come into force in the late fall, and is the biggest that's ever been introduced ever since 1998. The Prime Minister Mark Carney announced the changes on Friday at a military base in Trenton. Now, the outlay makes up part of more of the $9 billion he has promised to spend this fiscal year to bring Canada's defence expenditure to 2% of GDP by 2035. That's to do, obviously, with NATO and what have you. Now, Mark Carney has also pledged to hike that to 5%, in line with a recent target by the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation countries. 5% of gross domestic product. Obviously, if Canada can ride this little bump called the United States tariffs, and we see that their economy goes leaps and bounds, but they start producing stuff themselves as well as being a resource for other countries, that GDP might actually start accruing somewhat, growing. And then obviously it will accrue more monies for military expenditure. Now let's make something clear. Just because they're spending 5% of GDP on the military, while they're members of NATO, it don't mean to say that that's money being spent on NATO. No, it's been spent on your own defences as a part of NATO. It just is. Now, the United States, for instance, contribution into NATO is only 400 million. Not the 2.5%-ish that it's spending on its own military. No. And also it's more complicated than that as well. Then it's not even that much, actually, because they're including pensions and all sorts of shit, which other countries don't. It's got to be defence spending. I'm sure their pensions aren't a part of defence spending. But anyway, this is the thing that always irritates me. It also opens up opportunities and opportunity to earn monies, because the United States has got bases in all these countries while it's a member of NATO. You know? Which is your defences. Do you really want Russia to take over Europe? So it has all those mineral deposits and all that land, so it can put more missiles pointing towards the United States. Is that what you want? Do you want the United States, Russia's economy to be equal that of the United States? Because obviously they'll consume all the industries, GDPs. It is important to protect Europe against, this Russian encroachment. It's really important for the United States. It's a bit naive to say that you can just, pull up the drawbridge and not have anything to do with anybody else, because it doesn't work that way. The NATO members have been under pressure because of Donald Trump, and he's been put under pressure on regarding these tariffs, hasn't he? And it has to be said, you could argue he's actually done them a favour by putting all the tariffs on and creating doubt regarding whether or not Donald Trump would initiate Article 5 of NATO, where one for all and all for one kind of thing. Anyway, and it's pushed these countries into self-reliance, which is a good thing. So we could thank them for that. Canada, maybe not at the moment, could thank Donald Trump in the future when their economy goes leaps and bounds with all their mineral deposits and resources and wood and all the stuff that they have got. And they're going to be trading. Also, they're going to be making as well in Canada. And then exporting the actual final goods. They're going to be doing a lot of this. Things are changing big time. There's going to be a hit. And people will find it difficult. But they will ride it out and they will get up on top. Unlike the United States. The empire. The United States empire, post-war. Well, it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. Like all empires. Those in Rome, they said, couldn't happen to Rome, we're too big. Then come to Rome. Look at Great Britain. Once an empire until the war. And then the United States picked up the baton. And now it's coming to an end for the United States. Didn't have to, but it is. Because of Donald Trump. What do you say? Elbows up, maybe? Because that's what I would say. Anyway, please click the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. We've also opened up the viewers post or members viewers post. So anyone who has subscribed for at least 1 week can now post on the community pages. So, yeah, that's a relatively new thing. I've been humming and hawing about it for a while, but I thought it might be a good idea. So you can tell me when Or if you know of like protests that are going on, so I can cover them, or certain things that you'd like to be aware of. Maybe just put a link or picture or just a whatever on there, so I know where to look, and then I can find. Maybe I'll make a video, you know, and then I'll diversify the content on the channel as well. That's what I'm hoping. So anyway, please put the old like button and subscribe to the channel, little bell icon, because then you get one first video in your pocket every time I upload another video. If you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the links are down below. And you know what? We have to stick together. Those that are being effectively bullied need to stick together. We need to work together. Just like Canada is working with Europe, which opens up their ability, more buying power regarding military equipment. Alliances are so important. And Donald Trump has put a whopping great barrier between other Western leaders and the United States. Fool that he is. Anyway, like I say, leave the like button, comment down below.